In this video, I'm going to show you how you can show different Notion properties from your Notion tasks inside of Morgen. If we take a look at Notion in this example database, the name of the page is Connect Notion to Morgen. Then the properties inside of this task at the moment, we have a person property, where is my name, then a checkbox property, which can be completed or incomplete. We can then add other properties inside of the Notion database, such as a description. We could also add a date property, a number property, and then we can also add a select property, which we can use to bring information into Morgen. So let's say in the description, I can say I'm talking about 4 different properties. The date, I want it to be Monday. Number, I think it's going to take 1 hour. So 1 hour I'm expecting this task to take. And then inside of the select property, I can add different options. So let's say high, medium, and then low. If we then take a look at Morgen, go to the Tasks section, the Notion integration, click on View, then Edit Account Preferences, we can edit the information in Morgen from those Notion properties. So we can define what property is going to complete the task. I want that to be the checkbox property. So when the checkbox is selected, the task will be completed. I can then connect an importance property. So we can select a property, go Select, and now the Notion high priority will be Morgen's high priority, the Notion's medium priority will be Morgen's medium priority, and the Notion's low priority will be Morgen's low priority. We don't have a default grouping option yet, we can add that in later, but I am going to connect a description property, which was the text property inside of Notion called description. We can then add a due date property with the date property we have inside of Notion, and then the time estimate is the number property we have inside of Notion. And you can see 0.5 is 30 minutes. 1 is 1 hour. So 1 hour 15 minutes would be 1.25. I can now save the configuration, open up Morgen, and now inside of Notion we can see that task, Connect Notion to Morgen. We have 1 hour as a time estimate. It is due tomorrow. I am the assignee, I'm the person, and there is the low priority. If I left click on the task, you can see there is all of that information. But you'll also notice due tomorrow is a list that's appeared, and that's because the date is a due date on the task. So it's telling me, hey, this task is due tomorrow, and so Morgen is telling me this is due soon. If I was to edit that due date inside of Morgen, let's say it's due today, now it's going to change the date. The list is now showing task due today rather than tomorrow. And if we go back to Notion, you can see the date property is now showing Saturday, so today's date, instead of Sunday, 30th, tomorrow's date. Now what we can do is add another property inside of Notion, and Morgen will recognize most properties in Notion. So I'm going to use another select property, but I'm going to call it energy. And for the energy property, I'm going to add emojis. So I'm using the Windows key and full stop to bring up the emoji window. I'm going to add fire. Let's create 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now I have 5 different amounts of energy. So say this is 2, and this is actually a high priority. And so now when I go back to the configuration, you can see the Notion property is now selecting the priority property for the Morgen importance. But in the default grouping, I can add energy. Now I can save that configuration, go back to Morgen, and you can see we've got all of that information shown. We've got high, we've got the 2 fire energy, and all the other information. But when we go back to Notion, add a new page, say publish Morgen video, and have the energy 4, so it's a different energy level. Go back to Morgen, we've got 2 different groups. We've got the 2 energy group and the 4 energy group. If it doesn't happen automatically, you can go to the view settings, click on grouping, group by, and then select which priority you want to group by. And you'll notice there are the other properties there as well, person, priority, and energy. So I could group by priority, high, no priority, or I can group by energy as you saw before.